Today from Marathon Stadium, we pitch the might of the Newcastle Knights up against the power of the Parramatta Eels. Right here on the one and only wide world of sports.
When it comes to passionate supporters, the Eels and the Knights have just about the best in the business. And today, as we welcome you to Marathon Stadium, we do have a full house in attendance for this round 16 clash between Newcastle and Parramatta. It is something of a top-of-the-table clash, with Melbourne getting rolled last night. The winner of this game will leapfrog the Storm and move into the #1 position. And Paul, what matters, of course, if we don't have a draw, I don't think that will be the case. But two sides this afternoon who really have realistic chances of being minor premiers, they are going that well.
Some great players on both sides today, Peter. For mine, it's a test of all the ball players out there today. You've got the Johns boys on the Newcastle side, and on the Parramatta team, the likes of Jason Smith, Jim Dimmick, and of course John Simon for the halfback. So it should be a fantastic game. The Newcastle side lines up this way. The fullback is O'Davis, the wingers are Moody and McDougall, Gidley and Hughes in the centres, the Johns boys at 5'8" and halfback. The lock forward is Billy Peden, Peter Shields and Piccinelli in the second rows. Fletcher replaces Paul Harrigan, who's out with a bad knee. Butterfield's the other front rower. Clements comes into the hooker. He replaces Lee Jackson, who was dropped, and Malcolm Riley is their coach.
And the Parramatta side has Shabowski at fullback, Carriage and Ware at the wings, Nathan Barnes and Stuart Kelly the centre pairing. Jason Bell is the 5'8", with John Simon coming in off the bench. That pushes David Penner back onto the interchange. Jim Dimmick, Jason Smith and Dallas Weston make up a very strong back row. Young Nathan Kalis up front, Dean Pay, Jamie Owens is the hooker, coached by Brian Smith. And Paul, there are nearly 30,000 Newcastle fans here hoping that you will tip a Parramatta victory.
And I am, because I think they can really win this game. You know, they've won 9 in a row. It's been a good year for them, but they haven't really convinced me until last week when they beat North Sydney. That was a great effort. I think they can back up again today with another one. Yeah,
I'm going for the Eels this afternoon. I just haven't seen as complete a performance from any team as we saw the Eels come up with against North Sydney last Saturday night. And I also think that the Knights might be a little bit vulnerable. No Paul Harrigan and no Glenn Grief as a backup. So this will be an absolute beauty at Marathon. The Knights up against the Eels. Here's Ray Warren.
Thank you, Peter. Parramatta Eels taken out by Dean Pay. Tremendous crowd here, marvellous atmosphere. And of course the winner, as has already been pointed out, will go to the top of the table tonight. Both sides boasting 3 internationals. That's Nathan Barnes, now Jason Smith. Barnes, of course, was with the Newcastle Knights. Nathan Kalis, he's really been asked to come ahead in maturity very quickly, as has young Dallas Weston. The Knights taken out by Matthew Johns in the absence of Paul Harrigan. 5 changes to the 17 beaten last Sunday. 4 changes to the run-on side. Harrigan out injured. Steve Roach is on the sidelines. Well, of course, one of them's going to be in front tonight, big fella.
Yeah, I'm going to have to stick my neck out today in front of a very vocal Newcastle Knights crowd. I'm going to go for Parramatta. I think their defence and their structure is far too good. There's been too many changes for the Newcastle Knights, and I do think they missed their inspirational skipper, Paul Harrigan. 17 degrees, a light nor'wester. Newcastle have won the toss and will run left to right on your screen.
And that will be into the breeze, if I'm reading it correctly. Bill Harrigan is the man in charge. So Newcastle left to right. Parramatta with first use of the football, and Dallas Weston leads the charge. 8 wins on the trot for the Eels. Dean Pay, the captain, on the second play. Now for Jason Smith. And a beautiful ball for Kelly. Kelly down the left flank. Harrigan was in trouble, the referee. Kelly's kick sees Parramatta leading the race. They're going to put it over the line. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Wirrett has scored. What an incredible start to any sporting contest.
Oh, yes. What about that for a try? Great work again. Jason Smith heavily involved. Stuart Kelly put into a gap with a beautiful pass. Kelly hitting it at speed around Robbie O'Davis. He looked to see where the speed men were. No quicker out there than Shane Werrett. The ball bounced agonisingly close to the sideline. The flick pass back inside. Great work there. Werrett gets the try.
That's the try of the century. No doubt about it. Unbelievable stuff. They were short down this side, Newcastle, and Brian Smith, what a good coach he is. He's watched videos, he's seen that. They had a shot early, and it's all come off because a fantastic try. Everyone did their job. Great piece of skill there from Jason Bell. And it's just incredible. The crowd, I don't know what's happened. They're stunned.
Well, I was about to say that the area that Parramatta was so good in last week was coming out of their own end. They didn't make many mistakes. But a deliberate kick towards Shane Werrett's wing. Jason Bell did marvellously well to get there, and to have the vision and the ability to get the ball back in field.
Now, from the sideline, the breeze is behind him. Clinton Shivkovsky to try and convert one of the game's most incredible tries. He's missed it badly. Let's have a look at it. It came on the third play of the day.
I'm glad we've got the replay. I haven't even had time to sit down yet. Jason Smith again on the left-hand side of the ruck. He does so well. Kelly runs into space. And look at the support come from the Parramatta side, where it does well just to hold back to keep on side. And that's just beautiful play from Bell. Just picks up inside the touch line, inside the Werrett. And there it is.
Dallas Western then reenacts the start, which now was about 2 3/4 minutes ago. Kalis brought down just inside the 20-metre point. Well, we all had plans to do or say something, but none of us had time. You've already heard Peter Sterling had plans to tell us that Parramatta was specialising in bringing the ball off their own line. Steve Roach didn't even have time to sit down and put his seatbelt on. Now, Robbie O'Davis. I just wonder what's going through his mind as he plays in this match today. Butterfield. Hard tackle by Kalis. He went in awkwardly. He's okay. Now, a second man play. They go back for Bill Peden to go ahead and across to the halfway, centre of the ground. Matthew Johns chooses a second man play again, and Shields gets the ball away. Then from Gidley, finds Matthew Johns. They come across. In fact, that is Gidley. Hughes is playing on the left side. Gidley in 3 on the right. Butterfield, his second handle on this set. Harrigan indicates the end of the tackle count. Andrew Johns goes high. The breeze will make it sit there. Oh, Shivkovsky's lost it completely. Newcastle's over. Oh, this isn't a game of rugby league. It's a nightmare. It's nightmare on Elm Street.
It looks as though Adam McDougall has got the try. Slow to his feet, but it looks like a number 5 on his back. And Parramatta have struggled under the high ball for a major part of the season. But this is a very, very tough one for Clinton Shivkovsky. In the end, he misses it by a good metre or two. A bounce, a good one for Newcastle, but you've got to say their chase was sensational. The best of those was McDougall.
Didn't take them long to hit back, did it? Great side, Newcastle. This shapes to be a fantastic game of rugby league. Shivkovsky really struggles under that one. And McDougall did well. He's copped the hammering, got the ball down. Well done.
Well, this is the man that put it up. Gave it plenty of fight up into this breeze that's coming across from the bottom right of your screen to that top left corner. And it swirled around like Paul's washing machine. He misses the conversion. So it's tit for tat. Newcastle and Parramatta. 4 all after 5. John Simon in 14. He ran on. He was advertised off the bench. David Penner is keeping the seat warm. It's the big number 14 for Newcastle playing front row today. Troy Fletcher brings it out. And coming away is Hughes. Tackle crept up a little bit on him. It was Simon and Carriage. Now Butterfield. Well, Anthony Butterfield, or Tony if you like, he's going to make up for his missing partner, Paul Harrigan. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. Here he is on the sideline, the Chief.
And what a contrast it is, Butterfield up against Nathan Kalis. Butterfield made his debut at 32, been around forever. Young Kalis has been there 5 minutes, but already they're seeking each other out.
Andrew Johns. I'm just looking at these flags. I prefer to think this breeze is coming across the ground more so than favouring Parramatta, as I first said to you. Shipkovsky, Barnes, Carriage to the... Oh! That just sat the wisdom teeth back on the back of the gums there. Now Barnes. Plenty to enjoy about this one so far. Dimmick. I thought he failed in the State of Origin, but then he turned around about a day later and led Parramatta to a great victory over the Bears. So he's certainly an in-and-outer, isn't he? Now, beautiful pass. Bell finding Kelly and then Werrett, who scored the try. That combination, that trio, they laid it on at 40 seconds into the game. Shocking pass from the dummy half for John Simon. Then Dean Fay forced to kick. And the Breeze will push that, and they'll push it out on the full. So Newcastle will get ideal field position to start this next set of 6.
Very good pressure there on John Simon, although it wasn't needed that much because the pass was a shocker out of dummy half. Pay had the right idea, but just got a little bit too much on it. Butterfield will play it just inside the Parramatta half.
Fletcher. Within 3 metres of the half. Clements is the dummy half, who played with Canterbury. And he's ousted Lee Jackson from the number 9 jumper for the time being. Shields playing second row with Neil Pinchinelli. Both new faces to the Knights this year. Matthew Johnson with Tony Butterfield working across, working at angles. Clements spears it off for Fletcher. Fletcher gets away from Weston's tackle. Andrew Johns continues on, runs into Pay and Caleb. And now the Knights at 4 points all are 30 metres out as Matthew Johns retaliates with another kick. This one swirling around, but Carriage has taken it to ground into the field of play. Good work. Sloppy played the ball. Shivovsky 12 metres out from his own line. Play on the far side of the ground now. Carriage one more time.
And the wind not only causing havoc for the back trio of Parramatta, but also the sun over in that corner. And I would imagine that's where we'll continue the Johns brothers aiming their kicks.
Pretty excited today, Roy Sterling. He's pumped up when Parramatta's playing, and he comes out with all the new words. Here's O'Davis.
Thanks for your support, fellas.
Moody, long, lean, fast, out to the 40-metre line. Plays it back for Clements. Fletcher tried to hit and spin. The tackle was from Smith initially, Pay secondly. Butterfield leading by example. Now, Matthew back inside. Clements tries to duck between Jason Smith and Jason Bell. Last tackle for Newcastle again. Andrew John said we tried it and succeeded earlier. Let's do it again. Oh, the bounce of the ball! Again, it was a mongrel bounce for Parramatta, but John Simon comes away.
And yes, another great kick there from Andrew Johns, and Paul Carriage, the Parramatta winger, is still down. He copped one from McDougall as he ran through.
There's nothing in that.
Not really at all. Just a clash. Here's a chance now.
Parramatta down the left flank. Werrett pulled down by Moody. Just as well he didn't give him another centimetre start. Now Jason Bell. Moody makes the tackle. Jason Smith supports. Kelly comes down the left of the ground. Werrett goes in. Pushes it away for Jason Smith. Now it's gone back for Shivovsky. He tries to beat a man. He does that. Quick passes. Picks up the Parramatta hooker. And he goes further down the ground, Jamie Owens. 15 metres out from the line. As they go to the right for Simon. Now away for Dimmick. Dimmick back on the inside. It went to ground. Shivovsky dives on it. But it's a penalty, is it? It's a penalty.
Yeah, he's saying that one of the Parramatta players held off a Newcastle player from getting on that ball after it went on the deck. The pass back on the inside from Dimmick. And I think it's Jimmy Dimmick holds on to Billy Peden. Fair enough, that penalty.
This was where it flying down that left touchline. And a good effort by Moody to pull him in. Newcastle then building on the back of the penalty. From Clements, Pinchinelli it is. Just inside the 40, Parramatta's end of the ground. Robbo Davis goes from dummy half. A quick scurry, stepping as he went to the 30-metre line. Clements again. Fletcher on the move. Taking it up. The head went back. It's Payne. Took him to ground. Weston underneath. Fletcher up to play it groggily. Now it's with Matthew Johns, a dummy, and then he gives it. And Billy Peden has gone into a gap and scored. Well, this was quite magical. There was some thought of obstruction, but it would have been created, I would think, by the ball carrier.
Yeah, it looks fair enough. Just our first view of it. And quite unbelievable to think that Billy Peden could get through this wall of Parramatta defenders. Matthew Johns goes across, and I think that that's fine. Both Parramatta players from mine were committed to Matthew Johns. The man appealing most is Jason Smith in jersey number 12. The great try put on here. Watch the number 12. He comes into the tackle. That's fine. I can't see any problem with that whatsoever.
No, she looked play on to me. This will be a try. I know that Dean Pay, the Parramatta captain, went down and was giving Bill Harrigan plenty behind the try line.
So Billy Peden, for the time being, has got the second try for Newcastle. We're just watching now a replay of the incident that the video referee, Ian Parnaby, will rule on. My money is with the green light, and there it is. Third try of the day. Quite sensational. Tremendous contest here. Parramatta after 40 seconds, Newcastle after 5 minutes, and Newcastle again at the 12th minute of the game.
That's just a great skill there for Matthew Johns, the ability to draw in two defenders. That simply created the opening for the try. And Bill Peden's had a good start to the match as well. I think he was amazed that there was a gap there for him to get through, and he would no doubt be back thanking Matthew Johns for that one.
I know it's maybe a little bit tough on him, but I do think that Jim Dimmick, despite the fact he's appealing that there was some obstruction there, was the player who really had to come in and make the tackle. He's just out of shot on the right-hand side now. I know that we're plenty of defenders there, but he really had to be aware of maybe the ball was passed and Peden had it. He only had to come across another 2 or 3 steps.
So, Andrew Johnson right in front. Adds the extras. Newcastle now leading Parramatta 10 points to 4, and we've had 14 minutes. The restart for John Simon. Badiris is now on for Newcastle, and Hindmarch is on for Parramatta. As Matthew Johns almost bullocked through the tackle of Owens. Now the try scorer, Billy Peden. 40-metre line. Moody. He's already been involved in the game heavily, Moody. A couple of very important things that he's done. 17 is Badiris.
Tell you about who else has been through great. It's Troy Fletcher. Peter Shields takes it inside 40. Troy Fletcher pushed up into the customary position of front row. He's worked hard. He's offloaded on a couple of occasions. He's doing a fine job in Harrigan's absence. Up goes the kick again.
Well, Andrew's going to stay with this plan. And again, Shevovsky has got no idea. And that's not meant to be unkind to the lad. The ball is doing terrible things up there. And what else can he do? I mean, he's losing it in the breeze. Look at this. He's got his eyes on it, but he just can't get to it. And Andrew Johns is just going to keep dropping big bombs on him.
No, I think that'll be the last one we'll see go up. Had enough success early on in this game.
So the line dropout. We'll see Parramatta doing it tough again. Very big kick, which must have had some breeze behind it from John Simon. And look at this man, Buttock. 33 metres out from the Parramatta line. Playing it back for the dummy half, Badiris, to send Fletcher ahead. So they've taken 2 forwards ahead. This is the third play. Matthew. Arm up and free. Badira's there waiting. Throws the ball. Gidley goes back in amongst his own troops. Then he comes out the other side, Gidley. Gidley, he's close to the line, but he's pulled down. Badira's again. Andrew John. Dummies left and right. Now, the fourth. And across from Matthew to Shields and back. Matthew Johns will recover eventually. 15 away from the Parramatta line. If they don't score, they'll see it as an opportunity lost. The grubbing kick in behind. Oh, Barnes! Barnes failed to clean up. McDougall's got his second try, I think.
No, he didn't get him up again.
He's given the try. Barnes has made a complete meal of it.
Well, the Newcastle Knights, the one thing they keep against sides is pressure. Just mounts and mounts. They're always keeping the ball alive. The kick was fairly innocuous. Why Nathan Barnes left the ground and tried to push it out, I've got no idea. He had ample time to run across to the ball and make a good fist of it. He gets back with plenty of time, and it's just a shocking effort.
It's embarrassing, honestly. You've got a feel for him, but in the days of professional football, you can't afford to make mistakes like this one.
So I can't understand why he dived, why he left the ground. Either he must have thought that there was players coming a lot closer than what they actually were, or he got a call from his teammates. You'd think it was the former. McDougall gets 2.
Well, he came of age during the Origin series, and I just don't know how far this fella's going to go, Adam McDougall. He's got a brilliant career in front of him. Poor old Sterlo has gone from in orbit after 40 seconds, and now he's 20,000 fathoms under the sea.
He's pale, look at him.
I can't even see him. Get up, come on, get up.
I think we should stop it now, come back and start again after a couple of minutes.
You made one blue, your mob. You shouldn't have scored first.
Long way to go in this one, and
Okay.
will help the cause for Parramatta if this one is unsuccessful. 10-point lead after 20 minutes. It's been a great start from Newcastle after that early shock.
Johns is kicking into the teeth of the breeze from the sideline. It's got the length, but it hasn't the direction. Steve Roach, this is how it came. Try number 3.
Well, I know that Newcastle has scored their tries off kicks, but Parramatta are getting badly beaten at marker. There's another chip through, and I don't know what he was doing there, Barnes. As Peter said, the only excuse could be the sun in his eyes. And there's another try to the Knights.
Sun was shining up his other direction, actually, Stephen.
Oh, mate, I had to make one excuse for him. Sorry.
That's typical of you. You're looking for an excuse for the boy. But no, it was looking at him from another angle, the sun. Now, Butterfield. And Moody. Ooh, gee. Bit of anger in that tackle there from Page. 15 is on for Parramatta. That's Michael Vella. 30 metres away from the Newcastle line. They have scored 3 tries. Parramatta 1. Parramatta scored the first try in a sensational start after 45 seconds. Neil Pincinelli. Now Peter Shields. Lost the pass. Cuts a couple out. Almost cuts out the touch judge. It's over the sideline.
Yeah, they're looking good, Newcastle. One of the reasons is that they've had all the football. Parramatta have had to do most of the tackling so far today. That's why they've got the 10-point lead, Newcastle. The idea was right. Just a speculator, a floater for his winger, but no one's that quick.
You can never relax against Newcastle, like, can you? Like, I don't know how many times in a game as we see young Aaron Granger come in for Tony Butterfield, that you'll see players in the defence actually turn their back thinking that it's over, and somehow that impossible or miracle pass will find its mark for Newcastle and play continues.
So this is Barnes. Look at the tackle count. Parramatta asked to do twice as much work as Newcastle. That's what Paul was talking about. Now, Lovell is 22 metres away from the Newcastle line. They go down the blind. Dimmick on the inside. He's picked up a runaway. It's Hindmarsh. Hindmarsh, just short of the line. Good thinking by the youngster not to try the second movement. Now, from Owens, high ball for Simon. He's getting awful service. Puts a kick in. It came off the back of one of his own players who was in front of him. So it'll be a turnover on the last tackle.
And that's a poor finish to a great set of 6 there by Parramatta. Gee, they went close. Parramatta, some good play from them. I still think they're a chance to win this game. They just need half the ball. If they get that, Dimmick can work his magic. A poor attempt at tackle, and away he went. Hindmarsh. Oh, how close.
Well, I don't think he had to come up with a double movement. If he could have just got the football down where he was, it was a try. The momentum took him over. Interesting to see whether that is going to be
Here
a
it is
difference.
again, Pete.
Just have a look. There's no promotion of the football. He's over the line. The ball is over the line.
Shivovsky. A busy day at the office. It's an untidy office, though, at the moment. Oh, dear. Carriage came back, looking for space, and ran straight over Jim Dimmick.
That's the biggest hit Dimmick's had for years.
That's as angry as Carriage gets. Smith. Here's Carriage. He's trying to find a hole, so he says, here, get out of the road. Down goes one of his own 9 pins. Bell plays it back. And away from Simon to Dimmick. Dimmick, a long ball finding Barnes. Barnes out of the clutches of the number 4, Hughes. 40 metres out from the Newcastle line. Simon standing and passing. Lovell running into the shoulder of Granger.
John Simon on the short side gets a kick across. It's going to bounce, and fortunately for Newcastle, Andrew Johns was in the right position, and the chase wasn't particularly good from the Eels.
Moody.
We see it doesn't go where John Simon intended. Really just the one play there, Jason Bell actually lost his footing.
Billy to Parra, incorrect, play the ball, so this is what they need. Some time in possession down in Newcastle's 20. The players were all over him. That's a 50-50 on that one. It's gone the Eels' way, and a quick tap taken by Jason Smith.
Bell in the centre of the park. Dimmick. Barnes offered him the angle. He took it. 20 metres out. No markers, Newcastle. Dean Pay. Short ball on the inside. That was Hindmarsh. Now Simon. Bell. Shivovsky coming up on the inside. There's Shivovsky. And swatted by Granger. Then Smith. And it's come off the arm of Simon. He's allowed play to go with Vella. I would have thought it was a knock-on. Smith to the right. 10-metre line. Dimmick. Dimmick put down in the corner. 7 metres from the line. Carriage. Simon. Smith. Grubbing kick. Looking for the outside backs on the left of the ground. O'Davis. So 14-4 as we check the score. 24 and a half minutes gone. Craigie is on. Shields is on. That will necessitate some changes. Fletcher. 17 the dummy half the Deering. Both coaches using the bench. Frequently. Granger. Big crowd in attendance. Probably in the area of 23 to 25,000 people here. McDougall. They haven't gone far on 5 tackles. As Andrew Johns puts up the familiar bomb. Midfielder. Shivovsky. Tackle back on his own 30. Familiar face of Aaron Raper. And he's had some terrible injury problems since coming to Parramatta. He's in the middle of another one now with that shoulder. Jason Smith trying to lift his side. Simon. Smith again. Dimmick on the right. Barnes. Even though he made that mistake down there in the in-goal, Barnes, and it was embarrassing for him, he might be getting the better of that contest out there against Hughes. Bell. Ball floating forward. Kelly and Werrett are having a pick. That's off Newcastle. That ball has come off the 16 for Newcastle. And accidentally. So, of course, a player not playing at the ball, the same rule would apply in the new season. So Newcastle get the feed. Johns pushing it along for McDougall, playing in the centres. Hughes has gone out to the wing. McDougall steps out of a tackle and losing the ball.
He just lost it cold, didn't he? He busted through a couple of weak Parramatta defenders out there. Gets into the clear, and have a look at the way he's carrying the football. And that, said so many times in recent weeks, we see players with poor ball security because of the way the modern game is policed. Tend to get away with it. Sometimes you come unstuck. That was one of those occasions.
Of course, poor ball security is probably related to the rules that cover stealing of the ball. You don't have to have too much security on it. You get a penalty instead. The pass from Bell was forward to Werrett. Werrett, 25 metres out, but it's been called back.
Yeah, it did play forward, but see, the way Newcastle are defending out here, they're just inviting Parramatta to run down this side of the field. Floated forward, it went forward first, and you can't give Werrett, he's a man of much pace, you can't give him, too much room to move, but they are.
Just watching the way this game is unfolding, Parramatta should be coming more and more to the left of the ground if it's at all possible. They're doing well, Kelly and Werrett on the left. Here's Craigie. Steve Roach on the sideline.
Yeah, it's a different Parramatta today. I've been used to the last 8 games, how they've been really patient, take their opportunities. They look to me like they're rushing things today.
Problems for Jason Smith as Matthew.
Here's a chance for Billy Peden. Peden goes down the right of the ground. I thought he was going to pass on the inside. 10 metres out from the line. Matthew John finds his brother. Then it's given across the face of another. Hughes for McDougall. McDougall is tackled. Plays the ball 7 metres from the line. Andrew Johns. Andrew Johns is over the line and slam dunked. 4th try for Newcastle.
And they look very dangerous every time they get down in the 20-metre area of the Parramatta side. Beautiful pass here from Matthew Johns. It looked as though Billy Peden had ruined it. I do think that Gidley might have just about had the speed to get there. But in the same set of 6, Andrew Johns on the last tackle, takes the responsibility, straight through Kalis, carries over Michael Vella. And the only thing working for Parramatta in that instance there was the fact that they had 12 players and not 13. Jason Smith was still down receiving attention and looked to be in a fair degree of trouble.
Well, he's a halfback who can run like a second row. He's got the strength of a forward. Fantastic stuff from Andrew Johns. Just wondering if we'll hear more about that attempted tackle by Jason Smith on Butterfield. It looked like a half by raised forearm, maybe accidental. But
I think we've got a call. Here it is here, Butterfield. Ooh, gee. Yeah, Smith's worn the forearm of Butterfield. No question about it. Metres in, 18 metres up, 18 to 4. He should get this, and he does. So 20 points to 4. Malcolm really would be very, very contented. Newcastle leading Parramatta easily. Simon takes us into the last 10 minutes of the first half. Butterfield comes back. And he almost reaches the 20-metre line. If you can do that off your own goal line, you've done pretty well. Peden. Lovell is on. Shivkovsky has come off. And I told you, Carriage has gone back to fullback. Shields. Butterfield wants every available piece of football. Even when it's not his turn, he pushes people out of the road. Almost. Matthew Johns down the right flank. couple of metres into Parramatta's area on the 5th tackle. For his brother Andrew to put the kick off the left foot that time. Down to Carriage. Davis led the chase. Hughes makes the tackle. Carriage plays the ball.
It's Carl Lovell hitting the ball up. Very versatile player. In the forward pack or on the wing, and that's where he is at the moment. He's paid. Also tackled. Good run from Jason Smith. The Eels needed that. They weren't going too far.
Simon. Dimmick. This is Hindmarsh. Simon's kick floating down to Moody. Jason put down on the 30-metre line. Brought a groan from the crowd.
Yeah, I think what brought the groan was Dean Pay's involvement in that tackle.
Yes. It was that last action, that last motion that brought the groan. The swinging arm came up off the shoulder. I've got no problems with that. McDougall, Johns, Matthew, Andrew, Matthew. Oh, how did he do that? That's not allowed. Craigie. That's fudging. Now, Andrew Johns, he says, right, let's do it again. Now it's your turn, but big Carriage, he got a much more favourable kick.
I got to say, Ray, look, I'm a great fan of both Chivovsky and Paul Carriage, but I've always thought that Chivovsky was the safer one under the high ball out of the two. This is just unbelievable. Looks like he's lost the football, Matthew Johns, and in the one motion of catching it, he puts it onto the chest of Owen Craigie.
Six and a half minutes of the first half to go. Thoroughly entertaining stuff. It's all halfway through saying it's all been happening. And I'm very sorry, Mr. Lolly. Now, Dimmick finding Carriage in from the back, and in turn he finds Love. Gave Michael Vella a couple of incorrect calls earlier. My apologies, and here's a forward pass ruled, so it's going to be a scrum.
Oh, well, that's just terrible football. Here's a team down 20-4 just before half-time. Look at that for a pass. It's actually offside. Should have been a penalty.
It's looking very much like the defending ARL premiers are going to be sitting on top of this NRL ladder. Here's the chase. Rehearse move. The fullback was up in the line. Where it beats them, though. Where it got there first in front of Moody.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the desired option for Newcastle, kicking to this side of the field. They'd have much rather had a scrum over this side to be kicking behind Carl Lovell. Shane Werrett, see, just back behind the line. From a standing start, he still got blinding pace, and he was able to hold off Jason Moody.
Where was the fullback, though?
He was up in the line.
From their feet and their loose head.
Yeah, they'll all play up in the line.
Okay. Now, we got Barnes. Oh, gee, Parramatta. They're gonna get the round to the kitchen for some of these mistakes late in the first half. Butterfield. Did he clock the elbow, the 15 for Newcastle?
Yeah, Smales on Smith again.
Smith's on the end of all these elbows, flying left, right and centre. Andrew Johns and his brother backing into the traffic. 18 metres out from the Parramatta line. They're looking dangerous again. Shield. There's the ball down on the ground, and Bill Harrigan will set a scrum.
Knock on, Newcastle.
The referee ruling a knock-on here. They started to self-destruct in the last couple of minutes, Parramatta. Firstly, a forward pass from Carriage, and then handing the football over on the last tackle, only 35 out from your own line, is just unforgivable. That was Jason Smith again, popping one on the chin. A tough afternoon already for him.
Fire through the handling errors. Another on the wrong side of that. I was about to say Dean Fay was on the wrong side of that tackle, but he finished on top of his man. Smith starting something down the left. Carriage tries to promote. Finds Dean Fay. Gets the ball back. And Parramatta trying to make something out of nothing with Michael Vella. Simon. Dimmick. Barnes. Now there's a chance as Lovell puts the kick in. Newcastle leading the race. Barnes making the tackle complete. McDougall. Moody.
Great work from the wingers. You can see the time in the opposition half. That's why the Knights are well in front on the scoreboard. It's one of the reasons.
Shields. That's the 5th tackle. Andrew Johns. Had to hurry that kick a little bit. Carriage has got Lovell with him.
Well, I can't believe. Why would you trot up and then throw the football to a bloke standing still next to you? Ryan Smith has got every right to put a rocket up plenty of these Parramatta players because they are just doing some things that just doesn't cut it in the top grade.
Here's a chance. Hindmarsh's pass to Smith, and then the ball goes back and across. Dimmick told to play on. Now he's called a knock on.
Yeah, the touch he helped Bill Harrigan on that occasion. It was a knock on.
Well, Parramatta have shown they can still make breaks. They've had limited possession today, but the Newcastle defence isn't infallible, and they've made a couple of nice busts the last time they've had the football. And unfortunately, the last pass was a bit ordinary, threw it to no one. And they found a knock on there.
20 points to 4.
It hasn't just been the Newcastle forwards today which have played so well, players like Shields and Peden and Fletcher and Butterfield in particular, but it's been their backs. Moody, Gidley, Hughes, McDougall and the Johns boys have all had terrific games.
Half a minute to go. As Newcastle stack it up on the left of the ground. Quick hands, O'Davis away. Craigie on. McDougall runs at the fullback. In fact, I think he might be playing on the right wing at the moment, Clinton Szybotsky. Butterfield. Tackled 20 metres out from the line. Tackled 15 seconds out from half-time. Matthew for Andrew. He cuts out a player. Gets the ball across to Gidley. Moody takes it back in field, and he will play him on the 20-metre line. Planted back to Matthew Gidley. Then Andrew John. Now his brother Matthew. Back to Gidley. Gidley's got the corner in his sights, and he puts the ball over the line. Gidley gets try number 5 for Newcastle.
And it might be the try that wraps this up for the Newcastle side. But again, I've got to say it's a comedy of errors out there for Parramatta. I'm sure that a Parramatta player just falls down. As it comes back, we freeze it there. You can see Stuart Kelly rushing up out of the line. He misses his man and Gidley gets down the outside. As play continues, have a look at the man in front of him. Shane Werrett actually falls over as he's backing backwards. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yes.
What's the story here with the number 5?
Blocker, there's a sniper in the stand. Find him. But Gidley's had a great game. And, I mean, sensational play by these Newcastle players. Stuart Kelly, a bad defensive lapse. If you sprint up, you've got to make sure you're man.
Now, Andrew Johns from the sideline, 19 metres out, and he's put it across the face. So, at half-time, they have scored 5 tries. Newcastle leading Parramatta by 20 points as we go to the break. 25,000 people here today. Five tries to one. And Parramatta scored the first try. 40 seconds in, they came up with the first try, 6.5. And there's the stats from that first 40.
And playing against Newcastle, a little bit like playing against Brisbane. To beat them, you've got to have more ball than them and make less mistakes. And that's why Parramatta are way, way behind on the scoreboard. Only 14 uses of the football, nowhere near enough. Too many missed tackles. But the biggest concern, the line breaks 7-4. But having said that, like Brian Smith would be fairly happy that they've broken line 4 times. That's quite a few for one half. To have your line broken 7 times means that you're missing too many tackles.
And only a total of 86 tackles for the Newcastle Knights, so not too many outstanding defenders there. Actually, the leading tackler for Newcastle isn't on that sheet. It's Andrew Johns, the halfback. We can only do the forwards. On the television screen there, Billy Peden doing well. Tony Butterfield, great game from him with 12 hit-ups. And for the Parramatta side, Dean Payne and Jason Smith, the State of Origin heroes, they lead the way. They're holding their own out there.
So, what can we expect here? More of the same from Parramatta, or will they respond to the coach's instructions at half-time? Strong defence in the first tackle. Really sickened the Newcastle 15 Daniel Smales. That is Hughes. Third tackle, second half. 24-4. Butterfield taken down by Nathan Kalis and Dean Pay. Pincinelli. And his defence strong, but you'd expect it to be after the break. Andrew Johns reefing it down the ground. Javovsky. Who had a nightmare of a half.
And not the good start second half for Fletcher. Troy Fletcher leaving the field as Shane Werrett and Shivovsky in support. Troy Fletcher only out there for the one tackle and forced off. That was the tackle from Nathan Kalis, did the damage.
Talking of Kalis, that's him under the defence of Pincinelli. Now Owens. Jason Smith at first receiver. Then Simon and Dimmick out wide. Weston. 30-metre line. This is the last for Parramatta. Dimmick rolls it down to O'Davis. And Barnes and Carriage are there to put him away on the Newcastle 10. McDougall. And he's brushed away 3. Then he passes. Moody has to clean it up desperately. Shields makes the mistake, and Parramatta
come up with the football.
No, he's... What is he indicating? Zero tackle, or... Yes, he is. Parramatta's chance here. Simon. Dimmick. 12 metres out from the line. Weston. Oh, had the arm free. The support wasn't there. Simon. Pay. Now, Jason Bell, they must score. Kelly goes in for the Parramatta side.
There's been a dodgy start by Newcastle in the second half. Lost a player. McDougall went across field, put Moody under pressure, and then Peter Shields lost the football. And in the next set of 6, after Jason Bell was able to retrieve that lost ball, the Eels have put something on out wide. Dean Pate really came up with a shepherd here. Unfortunately, there was no Newcastle player included. Good take from Jason Bell. and Billy Peden just didn't have the speed to get across on the inside to stop Stuart Kelly coming back on a good angle.
That's where all Parramatta's success has been today. Whenever they've made a bus, it's been that down that side of the field. And doesn't Stuart Kelly hit a hole well? He's a great straight runner of the football. Sure, he's got to have the players inside him to put him into the gaps. He's got that, and he loves to hit that hole.
So they scored first in the first half, and now they've done it again in the second. It didn't bring them any joy, though, after 40 minutes in the first instance. I wonder, will Lady Luck be smiling more favourably this time? He's chosen to bring this back just 15, and he's 20 in. And he's hooked it too much. It might come back to haunt them, although 24 to 8 is a comfortable lead. Steve?
Yeah, this is just what they needed straight away in the second half. And as Paul said, this is where they've had all their luck. A hit of a shepherd there from Dean Pay. The inside ball, they just didn't cover up on the inside, the Newcastle Knights. And that's the try to Parramatta.
You got Paul Harrigan with you, Steve?
Yeah, I've got the Chief down here on the sideline. Boy, you were in the first half on the back foot in the first 40 seconds. What a great comeback.
Well, that's really the same for this half too, but it was a great comeback, and the boys were very sharp. The kicking game was great too early on that first half, but we predicted that they were going to start Parramatta 100 miles an hour. What's going on there? Got the ball in their second half, and they really have, because they've relaxed, got nothing to lose. They're 20 points behind at half-time, and with blokes like Smith and Dean Pay and Dimmick, they're really going to throw the ball around. They did that straight away.
I'll come back in a moment, Stephen. Here's Pinchinelli taking it within about 15 metres of the line. We'll find out what the coaches had to say in just a moment. This is Gidley down on the 10-metre line. Parramatta immediately under pressure. Andrew Johns using Fletcher. Centre of the ground. They didn't improve any in a forward direction. This is the last. Matthew Johns, a little left-footed kick and some... Carried, had it, lost it, and might have conceded a try. Well, this chain of errors, it looks to have continued.
And what about this hat-trick from Adam McDougall? Carriage picks it up. Unforced errors. It's hard to explain how that could happen. Did he get back and get his hand on it before Adam McDougall? That's the only question to be answered.
I reckon he has, Pete. It's a filthy mistake, a shocker, but I just reckon he might have got the touch there.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Well, it's a miracle.
Yes, he did.
How big a sigh of relief will he be breathing?
In fact, that alerts me to a rule that I was reading just the other day about a simultaneous touch. And the referee would be in his rights to give the try to the attacking side. The favour goes to the attacker in the case of a simultaneous touch. But this is no doubt in the world, no try if they get it right, and there's the red light. Now, Steve Roach, what did you find out at half-time, and have you finished talking to the big fella?
I'm still with the big fella, and obviously the changes from last week against Canberra has really pushed the buttons for the Knights. It's been an aggressive type of game in the first half.
Yeah, I reckon it's been a master stroke by now. All those players have played tremendous, and the blokes who've taken their place have really lifted, so it's been good for us.
Yeah, it's in and around the play. The ball they're winning. Butterfield having a magnificent game, also backed up by Fletcher.
Yeah, we've had great aggression on the ground with results and slowing them down, but also our play the ball's been pretty quick.
Yeah, Ray, I have to say that everything to come out of the Parramatta rooms, their coach Brian Smith was very, very upset with their aggression in defence, and they were a little bit slow off the deck after they made the tackle.
Here
There's
they
the
are,
turnover.
Stephen, with a half chance. Jason Smith scooping it off the ground. Dean Pay getting it away. Clinton Shabowski taking it back to the 40-metre line. But that's where it breaks down. Jason Smith. Now it's Kalis. In a sloppy start to the second half for both sides. Dean Pay. 24 points to 8. One try in the second half. Went to Parramatta. Jason Smith with a delicate little kick. And the bounce. Oh, Shane Wirrett. He has gone so close.
Just couldn't get the right bounce. Oh, hasn't he got some speed? Once again, down that side of the field, Jason Smith lurking out there dangerously, and where it just gets the speed going, the legs are pumping, and in the end, the good tackle from behind from Jason Moody knocked the ball loose.
The bounce was just a touch too high, wasn't it? But even if he could have controlled it at the end, despite the tackle of Moody, he scores the try.
The Knights through Gidley there. Adam McDougall went so close to claiming his third try of the day. Fletcher doing a fine job in the face of Harrigan. Shields. Hindmarsh is wearing 16 for Parramatta. And that tackle has hurt Shields. Got a little feeling in that left ankle or left knee. Bill Peden scored a try in the first half. Plays it back now for Clements to spin it away. His dummy half work has been good. Clements. Shivovsky on the carry back. And the pull down eventually by Neil Pincinelli. Owens. Shivovsky. And Fletcher's in there hanging on with Andrew Johns on the Parramatta 40-metre line. Here's Kalis. Ooh, hard tackle. Youngster felt the wrath of Clements and the Peden. Owen strides into territory vacant, and then Bell. Jason, beautiful player. He's done a couple of classical things today. Kelly, Owens, Simon, Dimmick has lost it. Advantage goes to Newcastle, and Johns 0 tackle. Andrew, I thought for a moment he was favouring an ankle. Butterfield. That's tackle number 1. They near the halfway line with Smale. Tackle 2. Clements, Matthew. Then O'Davis in from the back. He hasn't done much of that today. It's been a rather subdued Robbie O'Davis. And I suppose I can understand that. He's really at the centre of the controversy, isn't he? And playing football might not be the right recipe for the man today. Andrew Jones. His kick has gone straight up and down, and the bat back from Newcastle actually went forward, so the advantage applies. That should be the 0. It is. On the 20 for where it was. Shivovsky on 1. On the back for Jamie Owens. Kalis goes up. He's not frightened to take them on. He turns side on to be met there by Vidiris, who's back on. Dimmick servicing the pass across for Michael Vella. Towards the 40-metre line. Dimmick down the right. It's over on the other side of the park that they've had the success, Parramatta.
Yeah, the bloke who has been disappointing has been Dallas Weston. It's coming his way now, but he really hasn't caused much damage. Good ball from Bell onto Stuart Kelly. A little bit of space. Here's Werrett.
Werrett's out of the tackle but loses the footing. 23 metres out from the line. And he's lost the ball. He's appealed for a stolen ball, but he's dropped it cold.
Well, just from here, it looked like there was plenty of interference there in the tackle. They weren't getting off very quickly.
All of that is true, but they didn't drop the ball.
No, he dropped it cold in the end.
And the important thing was that Jason Moody actually did make an effort to get out of the play the ball area. If he'd lain in there, a different story, but he did make a movement to the side to get out of the way.
Here's O'Davis into the back line between Kelly and Lovell. McDougall halfway. Andrew Jones. Smite. Taken down by Hindmarsh and Vella. On the right, Fletcher. 40-metre line. Andrew Johns, inside pass. Hughes. Now the 5th. Matthew John. Now, I think his brother might be offside, but he stayed out of it. Parramatta coming up with it just inside the 20. Miller took his eyes off at Chivosky. He got a much better sight of it. Bell. Kalis. Weston. Dimmick inside. That's Hindmarsh. Castle's defence not offering very much for Parramatta. Now it does. They open up as Jason Smith puts the kick in off the outside edge of the boot. And Newcastle well represented in the chase. McDougall comes away and is cut down by the 15, Michael Vella.
Well, he deserved better there, Jason Smith. Took it upon himself to do something, not much happening for the Eels. And he made a beautiful break. Nearly set up a try. Plenty of speed, hasn't he, for a back rower? They all hung off him. Even Robbie O'Davis, he started to hang off. A nice option with the kick. And now here we go, Parramatta back in possession.
Kalis. Villa. 20-metre line. Bell floats it over the heads of two players. Oh, Werrett put a kick in, and Moody was about 2 metres away and caught it on the full. So they've had two chances, Parramatta, and this was the second.
He was like David Boone at short leg, wasn't he? Beautiful catch.
Probably a shade faster than Green. Granger back on in 18 for Newcastle. Pinchinelli a handoff and away from Gidley to Craigie to Moody on the 30-metre line. So Moody back for the kick. Matthew Johns. Clinton Chivosky looking for a gap. A gap that really has only been found by Jason Smith. But then we are talking about class, aren't we? Jason Bell finding Kelly. They've had some luck over here. Werrett, though, well marked and put away by Craigie and Matthew John. Kelly a dummy half. Bell at receiver to the 30-metre line. Second man play. Back for Kalis. Kalis then for Hindmarsh, and Hindmarsh is held by Fletcher and Smale. Jason Smith. Dimmick turning it back into the middle. Jason Smith, and then back, and from Hindmarsh, it's down to Pay. Pay runs across at an angle, and he's put down 21 metres away from the Newcastle line. Still some tackles in the tank. It's Bell, up to the line, puts the kick in. Moody watches it go over the sideline. We will take a break and be back in a moment. 24-8 Newcastle.
It's been some very, very poor play from Parramatta in the last 5 or 6 minutes, where they've had some quality possession in good field position. The kicking game has been absolutely shocking. They really have had a chance to exert some pressure. One thing that I think is counting against them, they're just not showing any patience. I feel as though they're a long way behind on the scoreboard, and they've got to score points quickly. There's still plenty of time in this game. Points will come if you are patient.
Come on, Arnie, work!
Buderis. Put some half-time scores up in just a moment from other games. This is Smales. He's lost it. Harrigan looked at the touch judge. The touch judge said no. Well, maybe he's right. Johns puts a kick down. Chibovsky back on his own 10-metre line, and the chase from Newcastle was intense.
I think the touchy back there, Ray actually said he knocked it back.
Did he? Okay. Owens. Smith. He's been probing up the middle and doing it with success, Jason. 17 minutes gone, second half. Dean Pay. Illawarra at half-time led North Queensland by 8 points. North Sydney leading Penrith comfortably. And Balmain, it was close at half-time. 4 points as Weston makes a charge. And Newcastle given the ball back. It was as if they're saying, we're finished with it, now you have it. Just building their own grave. Most disappointing. Gidley, good player, this fella. He's got a future. Gidley, Johns, McDougall, hungry for another try. He's got two. Was denied a third by an inch. Matthew Johns works the blind. Craigie, who was dropped from the run-on side. 15 away from the Parramatta line. Shields. Here's Andrew. Scheming. McDougall's underneath it. Down they go with the ball, and the Parramatta player wins the jump. Number 18, it is Carl Lovell. I think one of the things that's coming out of just watching this contest, it was good work by Carl Lovell. One of the things coming out of this performance by Newcastle today, say, unlike Sydney City without Fittler, Newcastle continue to show me that they can be without one of their stars or two of their stars, and they're still a very hard side to beat. Pay. 40-metre line. Simon. And then David Penner getting some time in the game. Weston. He doesn't seem to have had the work rate today that we've seen from him in the past. Simon doing what Newcastle did to them in the first half. The bounce has come off O'Davis. It should be 6 more. It is. And Parramatta will play it 20 metres out from the Newcastle line. Dimmock. Carrick. David wrapping him up around the leg. Owens. And Kalis looking on his inside, but Dean Payne was a bit slow getting there. Kalis 10 metres out. Simon. Oh, nobody wants to run.
They are feeling him going half pace and not putting any pressure on. Owens out of dummy half.
Back on the inside, Dean Payne. Be lovely if somebody would get back and wind up and really hit the line. Simon. Long ball back to Dimmock. He puts a grubber kick in. Villa beaten to the ball by McDougall, and McDougall grasped in goal.
Yeah, Parramatta had 2 or 3 chances there to score tries simply by supporting the player back on the inside. Simon stood and looked for support, then Dean Pay did no one there. Now he stayed on side, did Villa. With McDougall, not only does he pick the ball up, but then he nearly gets out of the in-goal area. Took 2 to pull him down.
Somebody has got to get in the ear of John Simon and say, look, you've got to start doing something out there and start organising your troops, getting them going forward. And the other message that's got to go out is to Dallas Weston and tell him that he's not a centre. He's a second rower and has got to come in and do a bit of work in the middle of the run.
Carriage on the line dropout return. Simon for Smith, then Weston again out wide. Now Kelly back on the inside for Penner, and David Penner to play the ball 18 metres out. He stays alive after playing it, and then lofts the pass out for Kalis to the 10-metre line. Owen. Simon. Down by Shields. Owens looking for the call. Answers it with Jason Smith, and Smith very close, gets the pass away. Craigie was there. Now it was Jason Moody. And he will play it just inside the 20. Newcastle running it away.
Once again, though, here's a half a break made. Jason Smith deft off his left. Just needed a man back on the inside. Anyone in support would have done. They've got the ball back to Eels. Another mistake by Newcastle.
Owen. Simon. Barnes. Back. Almost into a gap. Just beyond the 20. They've had a good chance. Are they going to convert these chances into points? Dimmock. Simon. Catching, passing, Smith. And Kelly put back. Newcastle's defence equal to everything they've got. Bad pass by Jason Smith. Owens, the hooker. Newcastle won the race to it, and then I think they had it taken off them. They have. Pay. Simon. Dimmick. Across the face of Carey. Taylor. Is it? No, on the outside it's Lovell. Lovell gets it down in the corner, and Bill Harrigan calls for the replay.
And I'm pretty sure this is a try. He didn't have much room to move. Some lovely quick hands there from the Eels. That's better stuff going forward. And bangs it down. Can't see any problems there whatsoever.
Yeah, that comes as almost a surprise, that try, because the previous 5 minutes was just awful stuff from Parramatta for mine. Just no zest in attack at all, apart from the likes of Stuart Kelly and Jason Smith.
Well, Jason Smith's almost playing them one out. And there it is, the try. So the Eels, well, you've got to say they're coming back well. They've had all the ball this second half. They get their second try in this half, and it's Simon, Jim Dimmick, great ball from Jim Dimmick, and lovely quick hands there from Nathan Barnes, and well finished off by Lovell, a former second rower now playing on the wing.
Yeah, he made a mistake here, Adam McDougall. He had to stay out on his man and show some faith in Mark Hughes. That's a little bit deceptive, that shot there, that there was still 8-10 metres. You'll see here that if Mark Hughes had have drifted across, then McDougall could have well believed that he would make that tackle on Nathan Barnes, and he could have stayed with his man.
Well, this is the try scorer. John Simon was placing the ball. He actually built the mound. And then Parramatta sent the hooker, Jamie Owens, over to actually take the kick from the sideline, 21 metres out. Difficult assignment. Breeze will help him a little bit. Gets it off on the right platform, but it's not coming around enough, in fact, into the upright. So we'll go to a break. Parramatta now down by 12. They've taken 8 points off the deficit. As the try scorer comes back, Carl Lovell. President's Cup today. Went to Parramatta, 35-4. And I think that crowd figure I gave you earlier is up around 25,000. We'll check that in a moment. The kick from Kelly has been knocked on. Newcastle come up with fair ball. That is Moody.
Well, this is just incredible. That was third tackle, and Stuart Kelly's tried to dribble one 35 out from his own line. Robbie O'Davis straight up the middle, under the post.
Robbie O'Davis will bring the crowd to its feet, and he does. It has been an enormous week for rugby league, and no less enormous for O'Davis. But this crowd is right behind him as he scores an opportunist try.
Yeah, I can't understand that play from Parramatta when they're only 2 converted tries down with almost a quarter of the game to go. And Robbie O'Davis, you mentioned the word subdued. It has been a quiet performance from him, but he's exploded to put this game beyond doubt. I said under the post, it's in fact to the side of the post, and he's done it all himself, straight through the middle of the Parramatta ruck. Just the one little step to beat the fullback, Paul Carriage. And Robbie O'Davis still gets his stamp on this game, despite one of the quieter ones for him.
Yeah, Robbie has almost been the missing man, the missing link today. Haven't seen much of him, but he's come in when it's mattered. Terrible Parramatta defence. They just didn't adjust in time after dropping that football.
Right in front for Andrew Johns. Just to seal this game a little bit more definitely. 30 points to 12. It came from a Parramatta mistake, Stephen.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt where Parramatta have been beaten today. Right up the middle. Only remember back to a run from Gidley a little bit earlier, right up the middle of their ruck. Robbie O'Davis does exactly the same thing to them. What a reply from him.
So Parramatta had a little smell of that chance to get back, but no sooner had they done that, and Newcastle replied. Something that they do monotonously. Butterfield. Tremendous run. Beaten. I've run out of adjectives for Butterfield. I've got to say he has overwhelmed my list of vocabulary.
Yeah, this bloke's been just as good, hasn't he, McDougall? He's played like another forward, as he can. But here's Butterfield again, his second touch in a set of 6. Another 8 metres. Physically, they've just been way too good for Parramatta. Matthew Johns weaved his magic in the middle of the ruck. Last tackle now, and they picked up a fairly easy 60 metres before the kick comes from Johns.
Back and across, and they all look to be onside. Shivovsky's troubles continue, and they haven't finished yet. In the end goal, they smash him. No, they don't. They gentle him down. Well, he just can't handle the swirling ball.
Well, these are the days you love being locked forward or a second row and not a fullback.
I mean, this breeze is very strong. It's coming straight across. And Andrew Johns, he just seems to know the right place to put it. Butterfield coming back.
And has continued it, hasn't he, Ray? He realises that the men at the back for Parramatta are playing with no confidence whatsoever, and he just wants to chip a little bit more away each time he gets the opportunity to.
Here's Andrew Johns, boot-laced by Bill. Matthew Johns, away for Gidley. Gidley met by Kelly. Done some very good things, Gidley, today. So too is Kelly, but then a few mistakes. Here's Shields looking for the runner. He finds Andrew. Andrew Johns gets try number 2. Newcastle putting Parramatta to bye-byes.
Yeah, they're a chance of getting 50 if the Eels aren't careful. Andrew Johns gets his second. The heads go down, and again it comes back to a Parramatta mistake. Drop ball, giving another set of 6 for the Knights. And really Newcastle, they just love playing with the football. Peter Shields, he threw half a dummy, but everybody fell for what he was trying to feint, and then just found Andrew Johns in support. Nobody worried about who had the football. And the number 7, if McDougall can play like an extra forward, so can this man.
So that's Andrew's second try of the day. McDougall's got a pair. And a punch of the year. In fact, both of the stars in shot at the same time. 34-12. Still there's 10 minutes to go. The way Parramatta's starting to react and gets the distinct impression it's not over yet, even though the exits have suddenly become very popular. What a fabulous player he is. Andrew Johns. Yes. 70th minute, 36-12, Newcastle. Simon's restart. Peter's right, he's been very quiet today, Simon. It's been catch, pass, catch, pass. He's a very strong man. I mean, if he takes the line on occasionally, he can really create problems. Friday next, we go to Brisbane. I almost said go to Melbourne. But no, Brisbane versus Melbourne. Next Friday at ANZ. That's our telecast match. Matthew. Gidley, look at him. He's got strength, hasn't he? Matthew. John. Moody. 45 out from their own line. Clements has done well at dummy half. Jackson will be watching him with interest. Done a wonderful job. Shivovsky. Shivovsky, you know, I was jokingly talking about nightmares. When he puts his head down tonight, I reckon the lampshade will look like it's red and blue. Barnes. Back on the bench now. The destroyer, the prober, the schemer, were masterminds.
I have to agree with Paul Harrigan when he was talking about Malcolm Riley's decision to make some changes. It's a good time for a wake-up call.
Here's a chance. Penner running on the inside.
We're about 2 months out from the playoffs, and just a reinforcement from the coach that, okay, we're travelling all right, but even if you think you're going to be in first grade next week, I've got my eye on you.
Weston rolling it down towards O'Davis. And O'Davis will play it back in his own way.
Well, they're all having a kick. It's not been the best day for the Eels, but they'll be back next week. And just on Shavovsky, he's had a tough day today, but I almost think he's been just about the buy of the season. He's had a great year for the Eels this year. He'll bounce back next week.
Steve's talking about next week, and you've been talking to him, and you've been watching him walking. Geez, I wouldn't think Harrigan to be back next week.
No, I don't think so neither, Ray. The interesting thing for me, he was on crutches earlier in the day too, so he put him away when he came to talk to us, but obviously he's having difficulty.
Well, I watched him on Thursday night saying he wouldn't be here today, but he'd be back the week after. So what? Looking at him today, he can have long odds. They play Penrith, I think. Kelly. And supported by Jason Smith. Have a look at him. He's out there like a shag at a rock. Shavovsky caught up to him eventually. Surely by now they must know that Jason Smith is a good man to be with. Simon. Then Dimmick. See, he's passing before he gets to the line, Simon. He's not putting the defence in two minds. Every time it's catch and pass. And Smith puts the kick in. It's too deep. 36-12.
Well, he's one bloke who can make a mistake and be forgiven. Plenty of blokes out there who can't. Stuart Kelly and Jason Smith have been very good for Parramatta this afternoon. In fact, I think the Stuart Kelly-Matthew Gidley battle on the far side has been one of the features. They've had a tremendous battle. Two very exciting youngsters. The string of youngsters, haven't Newcastle just got a perfect blend? They've got him and his brother in the middle directing things. They've got experience up front. Then they've got blokes like Aaron Granger, Daniel Smales, who I haven't seen before, and the Dearest coming in, just doing a great job.
Clements.
They've got plenty of depth.
Well, you've paid them the ultimate compliment now. You've dropped their surnames and Christian names completely as you ran through the list of talent.
That's right, I did, Ray.
Your expression was, you've got him and his brother. Just leave it to the listeners to work out what you're talking about, but we all know. Two of the brightest stars ever to hit rugby league at the same time. And O'Davis, almost like a stepbrother. And then Matthew Johns. He doesn't probably get the plaudits that Andrew does, but he's a lovely player. But Dearest's kick finding the hands of Carl Lovell, who got one of the three Parramatta tries. And this is Shavovsky. 40-metre line. Smith out wide. Kelly goes in. But Dearest swallowed him in defence. Good stuff. Penner's pass for Simon. Then for Dimmick. Shows it back on the inside. Dimmick's in space. On the inside. Della's going to make it, as he knows. Short. 5. Owens. Simon. There's the gridiron pass for Dimmick. Kicked by him, kicked by Lovell, picked up by Dimmick, and Barnes gets it over the line. Referee Harrigan has disallowed it and is taking play out to the 20-metre line for the restart.
Good decision there from Bill Harrigan. I'm glad that he didn't go to the video replay. He saw it, ruled on it, he got it right.
That crowd figure today, by the way, 25,094. That would be the second biggest crowd of this season. I think the Broncos match drew 28,000, and their ground record will never be broken, not while the ground is as it is, at something like 32,000. Matthew Johns holding off a defender, picking up Robbie O'Davis. O'Davis tackle 5 metres from the halfway line. Then they go away from Badeiras to Shields, and then back on the inside from Gidley. They come back across the ruck, and then the pass to ground from Clements, but picked up by Craigie. They go back onto the attack with Peden, and Peden is tackled on the halfway line. Clements to the left, a wide blind side, and he's pulled down by Jim Dimmock. 36-12. 2.5 minutes to go. Matthew Johns again with a big kick. Shavovsky underneath at this time. Safely. Werrett, pass, finding the passer. Shavovsky puts a sprint on. Loses the ball in the tackle, gets it back in, and he will put a scrum together.
Well, of course, this loss for Parramatta, it's not the end of the world. They're well entrenched up the top half of the top 10. But they'll be disappointed in the manner they've been beaten. Now, psychologically, it's a great plus for Newcastle, because you would believe that these two sides, somewhere down the track in September, will come up against each other. The last time they met at a final at the end of last season, Parramatta led 18-0 after 18 minutes and got beaten 28-20. So the Knights have shown in their last couple of meetings that in semi-final style football, they've been too good.
Tremendous work by young Granger, then Craigie, now O'Davis. Back into the centre, finding Smales. Straightens up the attack. 25 metres out from the Parramatta line. Good work by Granger. Well, he held off tackles. He was able to get it away. Shields across for Badeiras. O'Davis. Craigie looking for support. Finds it. Hughes. Channels back in. Simon pulls him down on the 20-metre line. Shields crosses that mark. Runs into the defence of Hindmark. And Newcastle setting it up again. From Clements to Matthew. John decides to do it himself. He's taken to ground by 3 defenders on 5. But he's put them where they were aiming. Now, Badeiras. And puts a little kick in. The bounce important, and Shavovsky was favoured by it. Jason Smith drifting across before linking up with Werrett on the far side of the ground. 24-point margin. It was 20 at half-time. Parramatta fleetingly got back with half a chance. Bella to ground. This massive crowd, by rugby league standards, counting it out. Fletcher dives on it for Newcastle. The siren sounds in the background. And the defending ARL premiers, Newcastle, has given Parramatta quite a beating. 36-12. Comprehensive win, which elevates them to the top of the NRL ladder. Newcastle, big winners. We'll be back with Peter. He'll wrap it up for you, and of course the $1,000 Man of the Match award, all contained in the other side of this book.
Out for about 40 seconds. They were the opening 40 seconds. From then on, it was all Newcastle. 36-12, they defeated the Parramatta Eels with plenty of tries being scored. McDougall and Andrew Johns got a double. Peden, Gidley and O'Davis. Andrew Johns kicked 4 from 7 of the Eels. Werrett, Kelly and Lovell were try scorers. No successes with the boot. A good performance from the Newcastle side, especially without their captain, Paul Harrigan. The man of the match, and $1,000 richer, their halfback, Andrew Johns. A 16-point haul for him. Tremendous in all aspects of the game. He takes 3 points in the Dally M's. 2 going to Anthony Butterfield, 1 to Jason Smith. Very good in a beaten side. And I must give special mention to both Matthew Johns and Troy Fletcher. I thought they were tremendous as well. And don't forget to check tomorrow's Daily Telegraph and Courier Mail for all the Dally M points. 3 other games played today in round 16. The Illawarra Steelers, too good for the Cowboys, 24-18. At North Sydney Oval, the Bears outlasted the Panthers 30 points to 22. And at Leichhardt, something of an upset, the Rabbitohs finally grabbed another victory in 98, 16-12 winners over the Balmain Tigers, which means with one game left to play in round 16, that's tomorrow night's game between the Roosters and the Raiders. The Newcastle Knights back on top of the competition ladder. They've spent plenty of time there, but tonight they are there on their own, 1 point ahead of the Melbourne Storm. The Eels cling to third spot. There's a real traffic jam there. The second half of the ladder looks this way. An important loss for the Tigers today. They're in 11th spot, and the Bulldogs, Warriors, Cowboys, and even the Seagulls still close enough, if good enough. Next Friday night, a beauty at the ANZ Stadium, the first ever meeting of the Brisbane Broncos and the Melbourne Storm. That's at 8:30 p.m. And on Sunday, another good one at league headquarters sees the Sydney City Roosters play host to the Parramatta Eels at 4 p.m. And from 6 p.m. onwards tonight, if you'd like to have a live chat with Ray Warren, our marvellous caller, on the internet, that's the website address to get in touch with Rabs. But a tremendous performance, 24-point winners, Newcastle over Parramatta here at Marathon. A big crowd. On behalf of the Channel 9 crew from Newcastle, we wish you a very good night.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports, your Commonwealth Games network.